City University of Hong Kong is an international university which emphasizes the integration of research and teaching. The university promotes diversified, cross-cultural studies through various educational programs. To promote our educational vision, City University of Hong Kong produced a series called Beyond Boundaries, Dialogue with Presidents of World's Leading Educational Institutions. Professor Way Kuo, President of City University of Hong Kong, talks to presidents of universities and principals of high schools around the world, exploring each other's strengths and looking forward to the future direction of educational development. Nicknamed Sandstone University in Australia, it is one of the 6 oldest universities in Australia, whose main teaching buildings are built of sandstone. It is also one of the top 3 universities in Australia, the University of Queensland in Brisbane. Founded in 1909, the University of Queensland is the first university in the state of Queensland and one of the largest universities in the country. It is ranked 50th in the QS World University Rankings 2023 and 53rd in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2023. In its history of more than 100 years, the University of Queensland has trained many talents for Australia. Famous graduates include the first female Australian Governor-General Quentin Bryce, former Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, Peter Doherty, who won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1996 for his cutting-edge research in immunology, and Geoffrey Rush, the first Australian to win the Oscar for Best Actor in 1997. The university has about 7,000 faculty and staff members and more than 58,000 students, including 21,000 international students from 137 countries, with the largest number of international students from mainland China, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Today, we are honored to invite Professor Deborah Terry, Vice Chancellor and President of the University of Queensland, to share her experience and vision. Professor Way Kuo, President of City University of Hong Kong, is well known for his research on the reliability of electronic systems and nuclear energy. In his early years, he worked at Bell Laboratories in the United States, who held the position of department head and dean of the School of Engineering in an American university, and was conferred academicians in various countries. Professor Way Kuo has served as the president of CityU for more than 10 years. His philosophy of education is summarized in the lyrics of the CityU anthem, which he wrote, "Learn and question beyond boundaries." Professor Way Kuo has also published several books about education. He is particularly concerned about the challenges facing contemporary education around the world.
Today, we are going to introduce you a very outstanding university in Australia. The University of Queensland is among the top 3 universities in Australia. It is a highly internationalized university. Australia is attractive to students around the world for many reasons. First of all, they have excellent research, teaching, and innovation opportunities. The University of Queensland, for example, is ranked 50th on QS World Universities rankings. Secondly, tuitions in Australia are relatively low. Thirdly, Australia enjoys good environment and low crime rate. The University of Queensland is a comprehensive university. The university is best known for many of its academic programs. Today, we are very honored to interview President Terry. Good to see you. And we all know that Australia is home to 7% of the world's top 100 universities. It is very competitive globally. And the University of Queensland is not only a top Australia's university, it is also ranked so well globally. Would you share us some of your legacies, the university, and also why is it so competitive globally and also in Australia?
No, well, thank you. Thank you very much for that question, and thank you, obviously, for setting up this interview and really looking forward to our discussions. I mean, as you said, UQ is one of Australia's top universities, the University of Queensland, and, you know, our legacies are certainly in education and research, obviously. I mean, we are a comprehensive university, and I think that's very important to our legacy in both education and research. We have 6 major faculties that are engaged in both teaching and research. Obviously, business, economics and law, humanities and social sciences, engineering, architecture and IT. We have a faculty of medicine. We have a faculty of health and behavioural sciences. And we have a very large faculty of science. So we're comprehensive. And in fact, in terms of our education programs, we are the custodian of many of those education programs. In the basic sciences, the enabling sciences, the humanities are here in the state of Queensland. We also, in terms of our research profile and legacy, which I think is a good way of putting it, we have a number of focused research institutes. We have many research centres and other entities, but we've got a number of university-wide institutes that are very focused. One's obviously focused on Queensland Brain Institute, focused on neuroscience. We've got IMB, which is focused on molecular biosciences. We've got AIBN, which is focused on bioengineering and nanotechnology. So that kind of gives you a sense of the broad institution, which I think really does point to those areas of legacy. I'd make up one other point. We are really known not only for the strength of our discovery science, but for our translation and our commercialisation. And this is a big issue, I think, for governments all around the world, making sure that research findings and research discoveries are impacting on the jobs and the industries of the future. And, you know, we typically sit very much at the national top of the league here in Australia for commercialisation.
Established more than 100 years ago, the University of Queensland attracts students from all over the world. The university emphasizes the integration of teaching and research and is committed to driving academic freedom and freedom of expression to build a liberal and democratic civil society by delivering knowledge via research and education.
I have talked to a number of university presidents and visited a number of places, and it has been very challenging for university, including like your university, the University of Queensland, to manage such a large program with a very successful, endeavor for the university to excel. And I'm sure that we want to maintain campus autonomy. And sometimes we have challenges to look at academic freedom. And in your experience, you have a tremendous experience over the many years in the academic community. Have you seen any experiences and any challenges that to help us to understand how to take care of possible difficulties for campus autonomy?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it is... obviously, the concepts of academic freedom and freedom of expression have been issues that have certainly been a focus of reviews and discussion in the Australian context. I mean, academic freedom, goes to the very heart of what we do. It's really important for the advancement and the dissemination of knowledge, which is basically what universities are responsible for. We advance knowledge through our research, we disseminate knowledge through our teaching, and academic freedom is absolutely critical. So it's an issue that we talk about quite a lot. We're very committed through all of our policies to ensure that it's absolutely protected. It does mean that there has to be obviously a very good understanding of why academic freedom is so important. It also means that we have to be open to the debates and free speech on campus, and that'll often mean that there's different views being expressed. It's really important for us that we ensure that freedom of speech is allowed to occur on our campuses. We will often put in place, sometimes we'll have an independent chair of a debate where we know there's going to be different views. Sometimes what we'll do is when we know a particular speaker may have one view, we'll make sure that alternative views are also heard. But, it's also about making sure that our students and our staff really understand why those things are so important. And as I say, they go to the core, absolute core of what universities stand for.
Universities have three responsibilities: teaching, research, and service. That seems to be a common thing people talk all the time. But in recent years, the service to society seems to be modified a little bit. We are encouraged to generate innovation to the society. So when we do research and teaching, we want to know how to convert that one to something of relevant to society through innovation. And so what's your view in your university in Australia in terms of generating innovation from the university faculty and the students beyond what we do in the research and teaching?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question, and it's certainly something that is a big focus here in Australia, not only across our university sector, but also from government. And I think, there's multiple ways that we do that. Obviously, our research functions are absolutely critical, and our teaching, as you say, but it is how we work to partner with industry to understand and work with industry around areas that are critical in terms of R&D for their progress, for the kinds of breakthroughs that will impact upon new industries and new jobs. So we certainly put a lot of focus on our partnerships side of things. We also have a separate entity that is responsible for our research commercialisation. So that is an area which works very closely with our researchers to ensure that intellectual property is appropriately protected, but to also ensure that we're able to take findings out of the laboratory and move them along closer to where they're going to have an impact commercially. So there's a strong focus there. I think translation, particularly in the clinical fields, the health fields, again, it's an area obviously that we're very focused on. But not forgetting the fact that many of our social sciences coming out of many parts of our university are findings and observations and evidence that is absolutely critical to policy refinement and has impacts for policy discussions. We also, obviously our main campus is where I am today at St Lucia, but we have major parts of our institution co-located with two quite large hospitals and hospital precincts. And that's really important because I think the closer you are to end users of your research and your education, the more likely you are to be able to enter into the partnerships which are so critical to the R&D that obviously our health partners, our industry partners, our government partners are interested in.
Do you see any opportunity for international collaboration in order to promote innovation for the next generation? And I'll give you one example. One example is we all know that today the COVID-19 pandemic really hit us very badly, in the whole world. And for Australia, certainly, because Australia, relatively speaking, compared to the international student, you have a smaller population. In other words, what it says is, I think you have a higher percentage of international students enrolled in Australia. So the COVID-19 apparently will hurt a little bit enrollment, right? And then when we look at international collaboration in terms of innovation, what can we do to conquer such a difficulty?
Certainly I think something that we've all been reflecting on all around the world. I think earlier on you mentioned the strength of Australia's reputation. 7 universities ranked in the top 100. I think a lot of that goes back to the fact that our colleagues right across our sector here in Australia have collaborated. We've been involved in many important global collaborations in research, joint teaching programs, but also, as you say, being able to attract international students, which, makes our campuses diverse. It means that our students are being taught in an environment and are learning in an environment with students from all over the world. And if we think about, modern workplaces into the future, they will be increasingly diverse. So, collaboration is absolutely critical. It builds understanding, it builds mutual respect. It means that we can bring to, big, wicked problems that we need to solve. We can bring complementarity of skills and perspectives.
We often talk about challenges, but at the same time, there are a lot of opportunities. can you share with us whether the opportunities and challenges?
So I think, our plans for the next 10 years, we've taken advantage of the fact that obviously Brisbane, where we're located largely, will host the 2032 Olympics and Paralympics. So we've taken the opportunity to think about, how will the university look in 10 years' time? And I think it is, ensuring that we absolutely ensure that our graduates are really well prepared for the jobs of the future, and that they've got the skills that employers and industry are looking for, working increasingly in partnership through our research to ensure that we are able to play, an absolutely critical role in addressing some of these big challenges that the world will face in the next 10 years, 20 years. But doing that in partnership, we're extraordinarily committed to that, ensuring that we do work with our research right through, what we might call the innovation ecosystem. Obviously, the discovery science is critical, but also ensuring that we are able to translate, to deliver commercial outcomes from our research. And then probably the fourth major factor, and we've talked a bit about this, is ensuring that we are able to have the level playing field in terms of student access to an education at the University of Queensland. So we're very focused on building our endowment fund, and we've set a target that we'll double it by 2032, with the goal of providing more support, more scholarship support for students who require that support to ensure that they can realise their aspiration of studying at, one of Australia's many, but a great university.
Professor Terry, we are so pleased to carry out this conversation with you at a distance. We have learned quite a bit from the University of Queensland, and we understand that you have a solid plan in the next few years for your university to excel. Well, thank you again. Look forward to meeting you in Hong Kong someday in the near future. Goodbye.